right now, because that's all we got. And all we've got is God. And that's all we give thanks for, because of where he's brought us from. We're like the children being led out of Egypt by Moses right now into a land that we've never ever experienced before. The people of God has to know how to do business with people that are already doing business, so that God can open up the windows of heaven and pour us out a blessing that we won't have room enough to store. God. He's not talking about anything atmospheric or anything climatic. He's talking about opening up a door that we have never experienced. And that's the door of wealth. He says in his word also that all that wealth will be stored up for us, for the righteous. Why? Because we're going to allow God to be the CEO of our business. And we're going to allow God to give the increase by following the principles of multiplication, by following the principle of duplication. We must, all of us, must duplicate God. When we duplicate God, that means everything we replicate is prosperity, is growth, is goodness, is righteousness, is love, is caring, is sharing, is building, is giving. Non-stop. Just by following a simple principle. And stepping out of the way so that God can step the way for us to follow. All we have to do, leaders, lovers of God, those that have been allowing the world to take your money that you've worked hard for all your life, and they invested in the stuff, and you just see pennies on a dollar. That doesn't make sense. Not pennies on a dollar. Surely God has a method of providing us with a solution from being in debt. I promise you, I'm not here to play with you, and I'm not going to let you play with me. I'm going to share with you what God has shared with me, because it's the most important thing in our life. And that is to allow God to be the CEO of our business. And from the first day that you make an investment into a business, that's allowing God to be the CEO, there will be an increase on what you invested in starting from day one, and you'll see it with your own eyes. What are you saying? Oh, that's impossible. Isn't anything impossible with God? Nothing. And when you're following the principles of math, you'll see that day one, you'll see an increase in what you're doing, because of the way in which the business is set up. The business is already set up. Multi-level marketing is already set up. That principle is already out there, been out there. But it's just that we haven't been using the principle of God to operate the business that's already out here. The greatest principle in life is giving. You can say it's something else. Somebody else can say it's something else. But what does your heart say? If your heart say that it's not about giving, then there's something wrong with your heart. Because We're like David. We're constantly striving after the heart of God. After it. Trying to get it. Striving hard. Reaching the best. Reaching the heart of God, which is the highest principle that we can ever wish to ascertain. But we as leaders must teach a principle of multi-level marketing to make it so simple that a child can understand it, so that all of us who have been waiting on this day for God to come into our life and start pouring us out a blessing that we won't have room enough to store. Allow God to just let you just think, because God wants us to think. He gave us the facilities to think so that we might weigh wrong from right, right from wrong. We might weigh it, balance it. God is wanting us to know that if we follow His man, that started in 26 through 28, the process, and then it is like Genesis is. Genes. Genes. Life can't exist without genes. On the other side of genes, life is death. God is showing the balance in one. Genes mean life dash is, to exist. I is means to exist. If something is, it is whatever because of its existence. So therefore, it is. But what is? Life is what? God. Because God is the one that balances. All we have to do is use God's balance in business. That's going to make so much sense to you when you can take your money and not have to invest it with people that are not showing you major miraculous growth on your money, when God asked us to work hard for our money and we get money and we don't have nowhere to put it. Put it in yourself. Put it in your family. Put it in building a generation so that of inheritances. How? Just by allowing God to be the CEO. You know right from wrong. I'm going to keep saying that. I have to keep saying that. You have to know right from wrong. And I know you do. And I know you understand and you know what's God and what's not of God. The balance in God's creation has to be in following the math that God created. He said, let us make man in our image. Let us make he, them, male, female. I'm not trying to get in a theological dispute with nobody or anybody. I'm just doing what God has asked me to do as a leader. And that is just to tell the truth. All the other stuff, people ideologies about this or about that, they're going to have their ideologies and their